Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. We're glad that you're here. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
And together we're Backyard Musings, the science and technology channel.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about science, I guess. Yeah, this would be a science topic. It has to do with you dinosaur lovers, people that are interested in the those old critters that are no longer around. Well, some of them, I guess, are still around, right? They figured that out. But this one has to do specifically about probably the most favorite or popular dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
The Tyrannosaurus Rex or
Yeah.
T-Rex. So let's talk about it.
A new study suggests T-Rex and other giant predators evolved tiny arms because their massive skulls took over as the primary hunting weapon. As their bites became more powerful, their forelimbs may have gradually faded into evolutionary leftovers. Okay. The famously tiny, I wonder if that's the same for alligators too. Because alligators have big heads and big lots of teeth.
I wonder if that'll become the same thing that'll happen to some humans.
It'll take millions of years.
Maybe not.
The famously tiny arms of Tyrannosaurus Rex may have evolved because these giant predators increasingly relied on massive skulls and powerful jaws to attack prey, according to a new study led by researchers from the University College London and the University of Cambridge. Would you like to know more?
Okay. The research published in Proceedings of the Royal Society B on May 20th of this year analyzed 82 species of theropods, a group of mostly meat-eating, two-legged dinosaurs. The scientists found that reduced forelimbs appeared independently in 5 major theropod groups, including Tyrannosaurids, the family that included T-Rex.
Their findings suggest that shrinking arms were tied more closely to the evolution of heavily built skulls, and strong bites than to overall body size. In other words, tiny arms were likely not just an accidental side effect of becoming enormous.
The researchers believe the rise of massive prey animals, including giant sauropods, which are long-necked, long-tailed plant eaters. That would be like the brontosaurus, right?
Right.
Okay.
Brachiosaurus, yeah.
Okay. May have pushed predators towards a different hunting strategy. Instead of grabbing prey with their arms and claws, these dinosaurs may have depended upon powerful jaws and skull strength.
Lead author Charlie Roger Scherer, a PhD student at UCL Earth Scientist, said, quote, "Everyone knows the T-Rex had tiny arms, but other giant theropod dinosaurs also evolved relatively small forearms. The Carnotaurus had ridiculously tiny arms, smaller than the T-Rex."
Okay, quote, "We sought to understand what was driving this change and found a strong relationship between short arms and large, powerful built heads." The vision I have in my head right now. So anyway, the head took over from the arms as the method of attack. It's a case of use it or lose it. The arms are no longer useful and reduce in size over time. So yeah, because I mean their head, they not only they obviously had enormous jaws, right? But they used their heads probably to whack the thing or overpower it or knock it out or I don't know. Again, I'm not a dinosaur guy, but I mean just envisioning the head size of a Tyrannosaurus Rex versus the rest of its body. So anyway.
Quote, "These adaptations often occurred in areas with gigantic prey. Trying to pull and grab at the 100-foot-long sauropod with your claws is not ideal. Attacking, holding on with the jaws might have been more effective." Scherer added that the evidence points towards skulls becoming stronger before forelimbs began shrinking.
Another quote, "While our study identifies correlations and so cannot establish cause and effect, it is highly likely that strongly built skulls came before shorter forelimbs. It would not make evolutionary sense for it to occur the other way around, and for these predators to give up their attack mechanism without having a backup."
To better understand the connection between skulls and forelimbs, the researchers created a new method for measuring skull robustness. The system took into account bite force, skull shape, and how firmly the skull bones were connected. Compact skulls were considered stronger than long, narrow ones.
T-Rex ranked highest in skull robustness using this method. The second strongest skull belonged to Tyrannotitan,
Yep.
another giant theropod that lived in what is now Argentina during the early Cretaceous period, more than 30 million years before T-Rex. Wow.
Yeah, 30 million years. Wow. See, millions of years. The team suggested that giant prey animals may have triggered an evolutionary arms race in which, pun intended, in which predators evolved stronger skulls and jaws to handle increasingly massive herbivores. Many of these hunters also evolved gigantic body sizes themselves.
The scientists compared forelimb length with skull length and identified 5 dinosaur groups that evolved especially reduced forelimbs. These included Tyrannosaurids, Abelisaurids, get out of here. Carcharodontosaurids, including Tyrannosaurus, Megalosaurids, and Ceratorosaurids. Whatever.
A bunch of swords, right?
I butchered all those, I'm sure. So just whatever, it is what it is.
Their analysis showed that reduced forelimbs had a stronger relationship with skull robustness than with total body size or skull size alone. The researchers also noted that some dinosaurs with tiny arms were not particularly huge. Majungasaurus, for example, was an apex predator that lived in Madagascar around 70 million years ago. It had a strongly built skull and very small forelimbs, despite weighing only about 1.6 tons, roughly 1/5 the weight of T-Rex.
Wow. The study found it's almost like they were developing these things. Heavenly Father was developing these things and saying, hey, this is not working out. We need to try a different one. And then modify the limbs, or make it a bigger head, or make it a long neck.
Well, you look at our appendix, right? What purpose does the appendix serve? And I guess it used
other than to be taken out.
Yeah. So
that's the only reason. It's like a surgeon's practice or something.
Yep.
Right. The study found that dinosaur groups evolved smaller forelimbs in different ways. Among Abelisaurids, the hands and lower portions of the arms beyond the elbow became especially reduced over time. Later species such as the Mungasaurus developed extremely tiny hands. Tyrannosaurids developed a different pattern, with all types of the forelimb shrinking at a more even rate. I mean, what do? You wake up one morning and what happened to my arms?
No, it's more likely
yesterday.
It's more likely you give birth and there's a slight change, and then over 1,000 years, 2,000 years, the change gets more gradual. They wouldn't notice it. I don't think they'd notice it.
Dinosaur birth defect?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
The researchers concluded that different dinosaur lineages likely reached the same result through separate developmental evolutionary pathways. Okay. So these guys are sitting around a table looking at skulls and comparing them, and then just making up this is what we think. It's not cause and effects, it's observational.
Yeah.
And I could do that. If somebody would pay me, I'd do that.
I was going to say, where do they get their money? How do they get their grant money? Is it, are there people out there that are just donate to whatever? I mean, I'm not saying that this is important. Obviously, it's not important to me, but there are people out there, if they've got publications and universities studying this thing, and they're actually on to something I wouldn't notice if you showed me a picture of these two things. I wouldn't notice that their arms are that different. I don't know, but obviously there are kids that I know there. I have grandkids that used to be into dinosaurs when they were younger, and you would mention a dinosaur and they would go off and tell you for the next 10 minutes all about it. There's a place up in Utah, I forget the museum it's called, but it's all about dinosaurs. You've probably been there. It's right there,
Yeah.
point of the mountain, Lehigh.
Yeah, we've taken Cameron there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating if you're into that stuff. And they were when they were younger. They just absorbed that stuff like a sponge. So, and they retained a lot of it. But yeah, all I know is dinosaurs are scary. That's all I know. So, anyway.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this.
Yep. Take care, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.